Welcome one and welcome all to Phoenix International Raceway for race 3 of 23 for the Crescent Moon Contractor Sportsman Series here at Phoenix again. The Tricky Triangle in the desert, the mini Tricky Triangle. No, not Pocono for those of you that may not know. This place is called Phoenix. And for the first time this season, we are going to a short track here in the CMC Sportsman Series. This track played a major role in deciding who last season's champion in the Truck Series would be. Austin Hartenfels had a very rough night here tonight, or last season, and tonight he's looking to capitalize on the experience he gained so far in open qualifying. We've got Andrew Fash. He's out in front right now with a time almost a full tenth faster than our in-race reporter Sean Powell. Andy Glazik's in third so far, just a tenth off still, and then Austin Hartenfels fourth and Ryan Dyson fifth. Bronson Stafford sitting sixth with Mark Murphy in seventh there. And we've still got 10 minutes left in qualifying. Round one's about to wrap up, and some drivers about to get another chance to set some faster times out there. But as this session gets ready to wrap up, we are ready to get this race underway. 150 laps here. This track is a lot of fun, especially since the repave. There is so much grip here, it is insane. Tires do not wear nearly as much as they used to, so tire strategy is going to come into play at some point tonight. And I think we might just get a long run. And up on your screen now, just a few track facts. This again is Phoenix International Raceway, 1 mile here, repaved in 2011, mid-season. And the capacity is 67,000 people, plus many more who can go on the hillsides to watch this race from abroad, you could basically call it. And again, 150 laps here tonight. It's going to be a good race. It's like I said, now with this repave, this track is funner than ever, and the fans at home and the fans at the track, they are piling in now as these drivers complete their laps under qualifying to get this race underway. Almost 30 drivers setting laps in qualifying so far. It's going to be a good race, and I will have Shane Doherty up in the booth to join me here tonight as we get tonight's event underway. But do not go away. We're going to take a quick commercial break and continue coverage of the pre-race here at Phoenix International Raceway. And welcome here with just 3 minutes left in open qualifying. These drivers wrapping up their laps, and the starting grid is pretty much all worked out, and we will know who will be starting where for this event here at Phoenix International Raceway. Very quickly though, I would like to pull our in-race reporter Sean Powell up into the booth and get his thoughts going into this race. So I will hopefully get in contact with him and ring him up here over our radios, and we will learn what he's got going on into this race. He's got a pretty competitive time in the top 5 here, so I've got a feeling Sean Powell in that number 7 is going to be towards the front throughout the race. And also up in the booth with me here tonight, I've got Mr. Shane Doherty, and he will be here bringing the coverage to you guys alongside me. As, like I said, qualifying is wrapping up. Sean Powell, our in-race reporter, has gotten himself up to second place, not besting his time from the first run, still just about a tenth off from Andrew Fayash III. Shane, what are your thoughts here with 1 minute left in qualifying? What do you think about this repaved version of the Phoenix International Raceway? We saw a pretty good race in the Truck Series last season. Do you think we'll see the same here tonight?
I think we definitely will. Phoenix, obviously, as we documented before when we came here for the first time in the Upper Edge Racing League, it's a lot different compared to the older Phoenix. A lot less bumps. The lines are different. It's just an overall different character, at least in my opinion, compared to the old one. I think with these B cars here tonight, it's going to be interesting to see who's going to have the better car on the long run. Because these cars, with all the weight they have, they can get pretty tight. And I raced this car here a couple weeks ago, and that was pretty much the main word I was saying all night. And that's tight, tight, tight. So whoever can keep their car turning through the center of the corner is probably going to end up winning this race.
And like I said, we're taking a look at the number 10, of Sean Powell. Danica Patrick, we were talking before the race, and he told me that he's Danica Patrick, and silly me, I forgot that Danica Patrick moved to the 10 car, but now we've got Sean Powell up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
What are your thoughts going into this race? How's the car feeling, and what do you think about starting up in that front row on the high side?
The track is a little kind of confusing right now. You know, like it's tight 1 second and the next one is loose, and starting outside here, I'm thinking I'll probably lose a spot or two unless I get a good start. I'm like the Jeff Gordon restarts.
How does the setup feel here tonight? I saw a lot of drivers getting loose going into 3 and 4. Is that something that you're thinking is going to be a widespread issue, or do you think that's something that'll be under control?
If people will be more patient, because the only time I spun out going in 3 and 4 is when I dive in there.
Is there any chance of the... Is there any chance of that high side coming into play throughout the night? Or I know in the C-Class trucks you're able to get that high side running, but here in these B cars there's a little more momentum to these things, and I don't really know, but you would know better than I would since you're down on track.
Yeah. I think maybe the middle groove, like in turns 3 and 4, kind of arc it from that way. But in turns 1 and 2, I don't see the high side coming in. 3 and 4, maybe the middle.
All right, Sean. Well, I wish you luck from up here in the booth. And again, you're starting second there on that outside line with Andrew Fayash on your inside. So again, good luck, and we'll hopefully see you towards the top 5 and maybe get a win here at the end of the night.
Yep, hope so.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to Shane so he can run through the top 10 of the gridding order here to get this race underway.
Absolutely, and starting on the pole for tonight's event, your winner of the first 2 weeks here in the Upper Edge Sportsman Series, Andrew Fayash III. We'll start pole. To his outside will be Sean Powell, just talked to him. Starting third will be Andy Glazik, and his outside, Mark Murphy. Starting 5th in tonight's event will be Austin Hartenfels, and to his outside, Ryan Dyson. Starting 7th will be Bronson Stafford, and to his outside, Leandro Schmidt. And starting 9th, Mark Rapolo, and to his outside, Bruce Ackerman, complete your top 10.
And it's like Sean said earlier, I do believe that this middle lane will be pretty much the only chance if you want to make passes anywhere other than being on that low side. Really, at Phoenix, that low side's just so effective because you can keep the car wound up and you can protect the position. But if you can get a good start on the high side, I do believe the high side will come into play throughout the night.
Got a pretty big field here for tonight's event. 27 cars going to officially start this race, so that's pretty good here for a short track, and especially for Phoenix. So it's going to be an exciting race here, and pace car is just about ready to pull off for 150 laps around this track.
And like you said, Andrew Fayash is down on the pole position, and the field is away, and we are green flag for 150 laps here for race 3 of 23.
Inside line looks to prevail there as Andrew Fayash starts to break away a little bit. Sean will fall in right there, but the battle is for third between it's going to be Corey Hoover, and to his outside, the 48 of Mark Murphy. Mark had a great run going last week and still ended up finishing pretty good, but we'll see if he can be down in it again as we have a caution on the speedway. Looks like the caution's going to be for the 54, yes, of Stuart Lebowski going around in turns number 3 and 4.
And we've queued up the replay there, and you see him up on the high side. Not sure what happened. Looked like the 54, Stuart Lebowski, just got loose. He comes down, collects a car just barely on the inside line. I do believe that would be the number 8 of Boldrin. Not too much damage to either car, and of course it is a short track, so won't come into play too much.
Yeah, we just talked about it there in the pre-race about how turn 3 is going to be a little bit sketchy tonight, and there you go. First wreck ends up on the first lap in the first chance into turn 3, and Stuart Lebowski thankfully looks like he's going to be just fine, though. Especially for a short track, you can get away with a little bit of damage, so if they got anything to work on, they'll probably work on it right here because he is to the tail of the field, and then we'll hit the reset button and try this again.
Yep, he is heading down pit road along with quite a few other drivers that started towards the rear of the field. Top up on fuel. Now that you ran just a single lap, you can kind of get a feel for how your car is. And I know one lap only gets you so far, but that one lap out on the track, it gets you set, Shane, and I know that you know it well. You start these races off, and every single time you get 4 fresh good years and you don't have damage, it's like starting the race completely over again.
Yeah, now the tires are at least up to a little bit of pressure. They had about 3/4 of a lap, so they're going to be a little bit better here on this restart, but we'll just have to see. Andrew looked pretty strong there through that first lap, but you never know at this place.
And he has just been so strong over the past few weeks here in the Upper Edge Racing Series, the CMC Sportsman Series, and getting 2 wins in this series, let alone 2 wins, but 2 wins in a row is incredibly incredibly impressive with a lot of big-name drivers of this league. Corey Hoover, Austin Hartenfels, all the drivers from RCA Racing. They're always a force to be reckoned with. In both weeks, he's come away victorious over those drivers, so that's very impressive. Andrew Fayash definitely flexing his muscles. Of course, he is a pro driver, so it is not his first time around the race course, and he has just proven that he is here to be on top.
Yeah, and he looks like he's going to try and do that. He finished second in practice. He's obviously started on the pole, and he's leading right now. We're just going to have to see here how the long run, I should say, is going to affect Andrew. We'll just have to see. Looks like he's got pretty good short run speed so far.
And now we have the pace car lights off here to take the green flag. We will be getting the green flag on lap number 6 of 150 after a early caution here with Stuart Lebowski going around on the high side into 3 and 4. It's like I predicted, Shane. It's like I talked about with our in-race reporter. Turn 3 and 4 seems to be a little bit of a trouble spot. Maybe a little too much brake bias in the front in these cars. But either way, Phoenix is going to be a fun track, and now that we've got another chance to get this race reset, again, Andrew Fayash on the inside, Stuart Lebowski will be towards the back after making his pit stop, and then Sean Powell's on the outside line starting here, and then Andy Glazik in that number 19 is starting on the inside line in the second row with a teammate right behind him of Ryan Dyson, but the pace car lights are off and the pace car is in, and we wait for Andrew to take off.
Flags out. Andrew Fayash, another good start as he barrels off into turn number 1. Sean's going to take that second spot, or at least control that second spot for now. So the battle is for third again. Mark Murphy trying to use that outside lane on Andy Glazik, and the field starts to spread out here as they go into turn number 3.
Andrew Fayash again looking strong on this early run. Too early to tell if he's going to have long run speed, but Mark Murphy in that number 48, he's moved up a few positions so far. He is up into third place after making that pass on Andy Glazik there in that number 19, but Andy Glazik is not done and not given up, and then Ryan Dyson's peeking in on that picture there for that battle for second, third, and fourth place. And right now Andy Glazik is struggling on the high side. He's all the way up by the wall, and he's going to let Ryan Dyson around him, and then he's got teammates coming up behind him, but right now the number 10 of Sean Powell is coming up on the leader's back bumper.
Yeah, actually, correction there. The 29 is Austin Hartenfels that just made the pass on Andy Glazik, so he moves up to the 4th spot and looks like he's going to be a little bit dominant. Remember when he came here in the Truck Series, Austin had that terrible, catastrophic start to the race where he somehow went several laps down, and that ultimately ended his chances for the championship in that Truck Series. So I think Austin's out here tonight to prove a point as we got a car around to the back straightaway. Nice save, but looks like Bronson Stafford's around and the caution's out.
As we queue up the replay, the drivers heading down into turns 1 and 2. Ryan Dyson underneath that number 20 of Bronson Stafford. Bronson just gets loose, cuts across Ryan's front bumper. Nothing he could do there. Turns it all the way around, keeps it off the inside wall. But due to the way that the Phoenix configuration is, even though he is off the racing surface, basically, that will still bring out the caution. And we are under caution for the second time here tonight at Phoenix International Raceway.
And that was a heads-up move there by Bronson. If they would have been at this track a couple years ago, let's just say that car would have been on the record right now because he would have been done. There would have been no room to save it. But with all that renovation down there in the back straightaway, a lot of space to save the car. And Bronson keeps it off the wall, and he'll just come back to pit road, put tires on it, and go get him again.
We've been doing this for pretty much every race we've broadcasted over the past few days. For those of you watching at home, head over to the Twitch text chat. Tell us what you think of the broadcast so far. How does the quality look? How does the quality of the frames per second look? And what do you think about the sound? What do you think we can do better? And just give us some suggestions as we roll on. We are trying to provide these guys with the best broadcasting experience possible on iRacing for the best quality versus price ratio. I think we do a pretty good job here under our second caution. But hey, what do I know?
Yeah, looks like a couple guys in the back taking advantage of this caution to try and make their cars better by coming in and getting tires and fuel, and not a bad call. You know, Phoenix is going to always turn some strategy, and we might see that sometime tonight. 2 tires, 4 tires. It will really depend on the situation, but right now those guys up front just taking it easy. No need to pit right now. We only went a couple laps on the green anyways, and if your car's handling good, you're probably going to stay out there for quite some time.
And it's like I said also in the pre-race, tires will not wear nearly as much as they would pretty much any other track on iRacing, especially the old Phoenix. This new pavement on the surface doesn't wear the tires down that much, and there is a lot of grip to go for. And there's just so much racing surface here too. These corners are so much wider than they used to be, and through the kink the track gets a little bit skinnier, but you've got tons of room in the middle of the dogleg to dive down also. So that just adds a completely different spectrum to racing here at this short track, and when things come together going into 3 and 4, things can get pretty sketchy.
Yeah, and especially if you use that dogleg down the back straightaway, your job is to get back up on the track and make turn 3. And what we often might see here, and I hope we don't see it tonight, is if those drivers who do go below the dogleg, or do use that dogleg, I should say, and come up and don't slow their car down enough to make it into turn 3, they might slide up into the guy beside them into turn 3, and they might both go into the wall, which would be really bad. But at the same time, it's very possible here. It's all with the new responsibilities you have of racing each other here around this new configuration.
And for those of you just now tuning in, you are watching the Crescent Moon Contractors Sportsman Series here at Phoenix International Raceway. The Upper Edge Series brings this together. If you're interested in anything Upper Edge, head over to upperedgeracing.com to check out anything you want to know about the league. Unfortunately, it is too late to join for this season of the B-Car, I do believe. Maybe you could come in as a substitute, but that's about all I know. But here, as we've got the pace car lights once again off, we are reset to take the green flag coming to lap 14.
Yeah, there's still 26 of the 27 cars that started this race on the lead lap. Duldren Boldrin has pretty much pulled his car behind the wall, but besides that, everyone else is still running and has a chance to win as we get ready to take the green flag here, coming to lap 14 of 150.
And the green flag is out, and our leader is away. Sean Powell not getting as good of a restart as he has so far, but he's going to have that momentum carried through the corner. He might be able to get back down on that inside line as he comes off, but it does not look like Mark Murphy will be giving him any slack as we've got a car loose in the back, and the caution is out. That will be Chris Scala in the number 88 bringing out this third caution of the night, our third early race caution. You see it there on your screen. He's just coming off the mid lane there in the corner. The rear end seems to go around on him pretty easily here at Phoenix. These cars, once you start going around, if you don't have a good grip on it, that back end will just sling you around. And with the setup here, I've heard from the drivers, the back end is pretty loose, Shane, and with a lot of front brake bias in this car, as soon as you plant those front brakes, the back end's going to want to travel. So unfortunately, our third caution of the night. And with that being said, we are going to toss it off to a quick commercial break. Do not go away. We will be back for the restart here at Phoenix International Raceway. And welcome back to Phoenix International Raceway. We are still under caution here. We are on 2 to go to get 1 to go green racing on lap 19 of 150 here. Our third early race caution. A few notables here. Mark Murphy has worked his way up from about just outside that top 5, and he is now sitting there on the outside lane for this restart. Sean Powell, our in-race reporter, will be starting on the inside line this time by, so maybe he will have a little more luck here. Ryan Dyson's also worked his way up towards the front, just outside that top 5. Andy Glazik has fallen back. And then the number 28, Austin Hartenfels, he is also up there. So RCA Racing making a strong statement so far early on. But we haven't had much green flag racing, so there is plenty more to be said and done throughout the night. And we are getting 1 to go this time by, so the pace car lights are off, and the field is doubled up when we are ready to take the green flag.
Yeah, not a lot has changed up front. I think Andy Glazik's just slipped back 3 spots. Besides that, it's pretty much been the same top 5 the entire way through so far. We're just going to see if we can get a longer run and see who's got the better car. But right now, we just keep getting a couple laps caution, and sometimes even shorter than that. So these guys really can't get into like a rhythm and really can't figure out what their car is doing. And we're just going to have to see eventually if we might see that stuff.
I will toss this restart over to you, Shane. I will let you call it here as the pace car gets ready to dive off.
Field, of course, in the attention of Andrew Fayash III. He's led every lap, and there's the green flag, waiting on the green flag this time. And they're going to go into turn number 1 side by side for the lead.
Mark Murphy making a strong run, getting down to the bottom lane. Ryan Dyson hanging strong on that middle to high lane. We've got cars 3 abreast behind them, and but right now the top 4 has gotten themselves single file, with that top 5 getting single file. But Mark Murphy making a run for the lead.
And he sends it in there. It may or may not stick. Has to get out of it there. Austin, or I should say Andrew, has to go high, and he looks like he's going to keep the lead. That was a bold move early on there for Mark Murphy, and a lot of good racing action there as he's going to slide into second still.
Very bold move for so early on in this race, Shane. Like you said, not sure how Andrew's going to feel about that. That could potentially change how Andrew looks at Mark Murphy throughout this race. But Ryan Dyson, look at him. He is up in 3rd in that number 29 Camaro. And he is not looking like he is done going up through the field.
Yeah, that's actually 29 Austin Hartenfeld. Austin has the blue car, and then you got Ryan Dyson with the red car. He's got the driven steering wheels Camaro. They're very similar. It's easy to mix up. But yeah, both of them running good right now in the top 5.
Yeah, that's the second time I guess I've done that this race. Ryan Dyson usually drives the blue one, and Austin usually has the red colors. But hey, I'm colorblind also.
But hey, I got to tell you, there's a lot of guys with new schemes this week, and especially Corey Hoover. I mean, all we've seen him is get used to the Hunt Brothers pizza. And this week, he's in a different car. And looks like we had a caution on the speedway.
The number 32 of Michael Finlayson is sitting there in turns 3 and 4 in the middle of the racing surface. We'll pull up the replay and take a look at what happened. And I do believe that will actually be 1 and 2.
Yeah, it actually is turn 1 and 2 there, but this is an interesting crash here. It looks like he gets in there and tries to stick his nose where it pretty much wasn't, and actually really surprised he didn't turn that car that he was trying to get under. I believe that was Trevor Rapolo, and yes, it was for the 8th spot.
And we're taking a look at the action from above going down into 1 and 2. The 32 got down there, tapped the number 9. And like you said, Shane, surprised that didn't send him around. Look at all those drivers just barely skirting by that number 32 sliding sideways in the middle of 1 and 2, where you're up to speed at about 130, 140, 150 even. And very close call. That could have been a lot worse than it was.
Yeah, a lot of those guys did a fantastic job. Andy Glazik One of those guys, Mark Rapolo, Bruce Ackerman, Shane Terry, and Joseph Thies, list goes on and on. All those guys had to slow down and make huge reactions just to miss that car, and they all did. They all missed him, and they all did a good job. So it's pretty much going to go down as a spin, but nonetheless, we are under caution again.
And we've got our in-race reporter heading down pit road, and he is also up in the booth. Sean Powell in the number 10. You got a copy, bud?
Yep.
You're coming down pit road early here. You were in the top 3. Do you think coming down pit road's going to help you out long run with just 25 laps on your tires and most of them not even being under green?
I just hit the gas.
Starting out towards the back of the field, do you think you're going to find yourself in a bad situation? A lot of these drivers, we haven't seen a big wreck yet, which is a good and a bad thing. That might mean we will avoid them throughout the race, but that also is going to leave a lot of cars out there for the potential of a big crash. Is that something on your mind right now?
Yep. I'm just hoping for the best and get up to the top 10 and top 5 back where I was. And then another reason I done this was because to see how long it take me to get from back here to up front.
Well, definitely. You've got over 100 laps to do so you are not in a rush. Remember that as you make your way up through the field. So again, Sean, we wish you luck from up in the booth, and we'll see you towards the front.
All right.
I mean, hey, what the heck? You got 125 laps to go. Why not try some strategy here early on? Try and get a figure on what exactly the car can do at this situation because of it. And it's just really anything can happen. This is such a crazy track. It is a short track, so whatever tends to happen at a short track usually just happens at a short track. And we see some pretty crazy things here on some of the short tracks, and Phoenix definitely is not shy of that. Tell you what, Sean came down pit road. He's only 11th right now, so that's not too terrible of a loss. At least what I thought is we had a lot of guys in the back come down pit road, and it's kind of funny because some of these guys, 15th on back, have pitted a couple times, and pretty much your top 10 has not moved. They've all been on the track. They're on the same set of tires and same tank of gas they started the race with. So it's just all the crazy parts here of a short track. So many options for strategy.
And then once again with our 4th caution early on, the pace car lights are off and we will be getting ready to go green going into 1 and 2 once again. Andrew Fash still leading here, but this time by we will see the number 48 once again on the outside. The number 29, Austin Hartenfels, he's worked his way up to the front. Ryan Dyson, his teammate in the 28, is on the high side. We are away. The 77's going.
Just a rocket on that start was Andrew Fayash, as he pretty much bolted right away from the field. There goes Austin Hartenfels to the inside of Mark Murphy, trying to take away that second spot, using the dog leg, and see how this all sorts out here into turn number 3.
Corey Hoover there in that new scheme this week, that number 33. He has slowly been working his way up towards the front. Now he's surrounded by teammates on both sides, but he is going 3 wide through the corner, through the middle. What a power move by Corey Hoover, diving it into 3 to take us that way, that second spot he's hoping to at least. His teammate Austin Hartenfels is not going to give it up easy, and they have had a history of racing each other hard but extremely clean, but that middle lane will have him the advantage off the corner, and he works his way all the way up there.
Number 4, sorry, Steve. Bronson Stafford just went around in front of traffic, and I believe we might have some contact in the back half of the field, and we do.
As we pull up the replay there, Shane, no problem cutting me off. A little bit of action, never hurt anyone. Well, except the driver's out on track. He got that apron coming off the corner, and he comes up in front of a couple drivers, collects Mike Tellier, collects someone else. Quite a bit of front-end damage to that number 20, quite possibly a blown radiator. very unfortunate accident there. That's the second time he's been involved in an accident, and it does look like the number 97, Mike Tellier, was smoking after that.
Yeah, the car that hit him first was Mike Finlayson, then Stuart Lebosco slowed up, he spun out, then we had a car hit Stuart, and that was Mike Tellier, then the 24 hit Stuart, and that was Riley Grant Davis. A lot of guys got caught up in that. That's probably the first big wreck of the night. A lot of fenders mangled after that one.
Yeah, when I was talking to Sean Powell there on that last restart, that is exactly what I was afraid would happen in front of him. And luckily for him, it did not happen in front of him, so he should be good there. And luckily, he will be starting pretty much in the safer spot, I guess you could say, the top 10. He's sitting in 10th, so he's in one of the more safe places on the racetrack there. The drivers towards 10th place and up, I've got a feeling they're just ready to ride it out for a little bit. A lot of those drivers probably have long-run cars, including people like Corey Hoover, Ryan Dyson, Austin Hartenfels, and also I want to look towards Trevor Rapolo there in 8th. He is usually pretty consistent on these long runs, so we will look to see if we get a long run here, how those drivers shape up.
Yeah, the only car pitting this time out of the top 10 was Andy Glazik, so he said 30 laps was enough for him, and he comes in with 4 tires and fuel. Unfortunately not followed by many others, so he will restart probably outside the top 15. But yeah, going back to your point, Steve, a lot of these guys are committed to staying out for a long portion of this race, maybe making it on 2 to 3 stops only, which sounds crazy enough on a short track. It might happen tonight. With the amount of cautions we're having here, we're not really using up a lot of these tires like we possibly expected.
And remember, for those of you watching at home, this is the Crescent Moon Contracting Sportsman Series here at Phoenix International Raceway. 33 laps into this event, we're on our 5th caution. Some tough racing going on throughout the beginning of this race. A lot of one-car spins, and this last one collecting a couple more cars. But again, brought to you by Crescent Moon Contracting. This series is also brought to you by Control Freak. Check them out on the web. They are one of the leading innovators in gaming controller accessories and gaming accessories in general. I definitely look to Control Freak anytime I need anything to accommodate my gaming needs. They've got a lot of cool stuff out there, so definitely look them up on the web. And Shane, I don't know, but last season I remember we had someone buy a Control Freak gadget while we were broadcasting. He got it a couple days later, and he sent me a message on Facebook. Well, holy cow, I thought I was good at Battlefield before, and now that I've got this, I do believe it was like a control stick thing that he stuck on it so he could aim a little bit more precise, and he says, now I'm really good at Battlefield. I didn't know I could get much better at sniping, and now he's really good. So, pretty cool stuff they got out there, so make sure you check it out.
Yeah, it's always surprising when you can just go ahead and buy something like that and get all that out of it. So really, really cool deal there the Control Freak has going on. And obviously, as we know, Trevor Rapolo always supporting those Control Freak colors, as he, I believe he is tonight as well. Yes, he is. And always one of the better looking cars on the racetrack. Nice to see the sponsor.
And I will once again tune it over to you for this restart, Shane. And again, Andrew Fayash starting out front, but Corey Hoover on the outside for the first time of the night.
Yeah, we're going to see here, Corey really came alive there on that last restart, the couple laps we had, and he's up to second. We're going to see how he is on the outside lane. Andrew Fayash leads him off slow, waits on the green flag, but the green flag is finally out. We're back racing.
Corey Hoover hanging strong on the outside line. He made the pass for second in that middle to high side, and he is sticking it out there right now, going through 3 and 4. He is not giving up. Andrew Fayash is stuck on the bottom, and Corey Hoover is going to be able to get past him almost to lead that lap. Going into 1 and 2, Corey Hoover still diving it into the corner very deep there. That number 33 is going to have the run off the corner. And if Andrew Fayash wants to control this lead further, he's going to have to do something because Corey Hoover is looking strong.
He is by far turning that outside line into something, isn't he? I mean, he's up there just blowing by guys on the outside. Here he is challenging Andrew Fayash for the lead. Andrew's led pretty much every lap up to that last one. I mean, Corey's, he's got something here tonight. He has come all the way up here, and now he's challenging for the lead and is still fighting hard on the outside. Really surprised.
He's going to fall off coming there on the corner just a little bit, and now he might look towards that back bumper and consider going maybe to the low side. I'll take that as a no, as the number 33 will drop off a little bit here to try to get that run off the corner, but things are shaping up single file towards the front.
Got some cars starting to come up through the field on fresher tires. Mark Rapolo, who's also in a Control Freak Chevrolet. Sorry about that, Mark. They always support those colors. Nice to see. But Sean Powell as well. He has made it up to 7th, and he's right there with Mark, challenging Mark Murphy. Now as here comes the 4 car of Leandro Schmidt as well, diving in there. Remember, some of these cars have fresh tires, and some of them have the same set of tires that started the race with.
Looking at this battle here for 5th, Mark Rapolo showing a strong showing early on in that number 3 Control Freak Camaro. He is on the inside of Mark Murphy, who has been having a pretty strong run so far, but I would like to note Andrew Fash has lost the lead.
Yeah, Corey just made the pass there that last time by. Sorry we missed it, but here comes Andrew back again on the inside. He's coming right back here early on, and nice race in action. He's going to get a little bit loose, has to get on the brakes, and here comes Ryan Dyson to the inside and Austin Hartenfels. And we have a caution on the speedway.
Tom Bourne this time going around towards the kink. As we pull up the replay here, going through 1 and 2, Tom Bourne is in that 31. He catches the apron. Second or third time we've seen this tonight, and he slides down to that inside wall, gives it a good tap, probably ends up damaging that radiator, I would imagine, Shane. And we're under, I do believe this is our 6th caution of the night. And now that Andrew Fayash is not in the lead, I've got a feeling he's going to bring some people down pit road.
Yeah, not a good last couple laps there for the caution for Andrew Fayash. He just got put 3 wide through the middle. And what about 40 laps on those tires? About 30 legitimate laps on those tires. I would say that they're probably going to come down pit road this time by, along with others. And here comes your leader, and here comes everybody except Austin Hartenfels and Sean Powell.
This will be interesting. Sean Powell hasn't ran very many green flag laps on those Goodyear tires, and Austin Hartenfels, he has not pit at all. I would like to note another driver staying out is Elaine Krasinski in that number 60 car. Shane, yeah. I'm looking at my statistics here, and he has pit a whopping 5 times so far in this race. The most out of every single driver other than Michael Thompson in that number 16, who was again down pit road.
Yeah, I believe Elaine got some damage on the 2nd or 3rd caution when they wrecked in turn number 3, and he had some front end damage. He got there early on, so they were on and off pit road several times fixing that. It looks a lot better than it did to start. Not completely fixed, but obviously when you have something like that happen, you can only salvage the front end part of that. So he'll be up near the front, and pretty sure he's got fresher tires than Austin, because Austin hasn't pitted all race. But as you said, Sean Powell here has pitted, and he didn't have many laps on his tires, so we're going to see if he has possibly the rubber to get to the lead.
It's going to be an interesting restart for sure, Shane. We're going to take a quick commercial break here at Checkered Flag Interactive. Go get some popcorn here. We've got 2 to go, but don't go away too long, because we will be back under green in no time. back here at Phoenix International Raceway, getting the green flag here with the 45 laps into this race. We've had quite a few cautions so far, a lot of single car incidents. We did have one multi-car pileup coming out of 3 and 4, but aside from that, it's just been these loose race cars in comparison with that apron that's been looping people around and getting people in trouble so far. Elaine Krasinski and Shane Terrian have both been on pit road multiple times, and they are there in that second row. Austin Hartenfels, your leader here, has not pit once. And then Sean Powell, our in-race reporter on the outside, came down pit road once about 20 laps ago, and now he's on the outside once again. Green flag is in the air. Austin is away. Good restart for that number 29.
Yeah, I did get a good restart there, and he is just, wow, rocketing ahead of the field. Just an absolutely dominating start. Was not expecting that. Sean Powell's got some heat from Shane Terrian for second. See Andy Glazig also up here. He stayed out because he, as well, came down pit road beforehand, so he's got pressure tires. But don't look now. Here comes the 33 of Corey Hoover on 4 fresh tires. Stuck in traffic, though, but Austin Hartenfeld's pulling away. We got a car out of the front straightaway. It's the 4 of Leandro Schmidt. Huge wreck in the back. A lot of cars caught up in this one.
I see cars crab walking as they make their ways through 3 and 4. We will bring up the replay here.
Yeah, this caught up at least 7 cars. Huge wreck in the back half of the field, but you see it there. The 4 of Leandro Schmidt goes around and chaos pursues.
We're watching here through 3 and 4. Leandro's on the outside of the number 5, Joseph Dice. He's coming off the corner. He gets loose. Almost gets that number 5. He gets loose some more. Collects into the outside wall. That brings Mark Rapolo around. Stuart Labosco lags through the number 3. Not sure how much he got from that, but he ends up coming down into the number 31 on the inside. Big hit for him, and we'll take another look at the replay here.
Yeah, but the hit I'm thinking about is with Mark Rapolo, because then he came down after his car got hit and he nailed, I believe that's the 28 or the 32. It could be wrong there. A lot of cars caught up, and yes, it was the 32 of Mike Finlayson. There's at least 6-7 cars in this one. You can't even really count numbers.
And then another car that got caught up in that is the number 88 of Chris Scala. He got turned around after the incident.
Yeah, that was also very surprising, but he was lucky to just hit the wall with the side of his car, not the front end, so we'll see what he can be. Yeah, the 4-car Leandro Schmidt, that front end is pointed like in a completely different direction than it should be, so they got a lot of work to do, that car.
We went on board there on that latest replay with the number 88 of Chris Scala. Pretty interesting camera view from his car. Not a very hard hit, like you said, Shane. He just gets into that outside wall. He'll be okay. But another caution here early on in this race.
Yeah, I'd say that one was probably the biggest wreck we've seen here, at least in this league. I don't think we've had a bigger one than that. That at least had to have been about 2 plus different wrecks happening at the same time. You had about 7 cars in there, so if that's anything that what we might see later in this race, I would continue to watch. This might get interesting here. That was just for the back. That could very well happen up front.
And now we're about 45 minutes into this race, and we are only 50 laps into it, so as you can see, there's obviously been quite a few cautions early on. I know these drivers. I was going to mention right before that incident happened, Shane Terrian was doing a good job there holding off Sean Powell in that number 10 for second place, so that's going to be interesting to watch how he fares towards the front of the field.
Yeah, he's definitely up there. He's actually up to second after he got around Sean Powell there on the restart. And I think there's a lot of good cars stuck in traffic. You got Andrew Fayash, Mark Murphy, Ryan Dyson. Those guys are all back in traffic. They're just about inside the top 10, just barely though. Then you got Corey Hoover, who got up to 5th and was actually coming through the field there. And we're going to have to see how he fares on this restart here, the third car on the inside lane.
Would also like to remind you that this series is brought to you by London Recreational Contracting. London Recreational Contracting is an industry leader in concrete pool and spa construction, focusing on 3 key factors: quality, creativity, and outstanding customer service. Here they are bringing this restart to you as the pace car lights are off.
Always nice when you have several partners for this league, the Upper Edge Racing League Sportsman Series. Always an amazing series to watch, and cool to see we have plenty of sponsors to help support what you're seeing. Pace car is going to get ready to pull off here. Austin Hartenfels is looking to get the same start he did last time. That was an amazing start. But we're going to see what he does here as he goes a little bit earlier than last time. It doesn't get quite as good of a start as here comes Shane Terry into the outside.
Strong start for Shane Terrian there on the outside. He might even clear Austin coming off turns 2 there.
And he thought about ducking low there. Austin had the car there, and Shane thought better of it, backed out of it a little bit. They're going to be side by side in turn number 3, and Austin using that apron to turn the car, and looks like he's going to hold that lead off, at least for now.
And you see the cars come flying at you there. Corey Hoover working on the back bumper of Elaine Krasinski, and Sean Powell there for 3rd, 4th place. He's going to get it away from the number 60 of Elaine Krasinski. He's got Corey Hoover there shooting underneath Sean Powell, trying to think about it. Andy Glazik making a recovery there, making his way up into 5th place.
Yeah, and Austin's doing a nice job. I would have not expected these tires to hang up at least this long, and he's still out there leading and still out there matching lap times with Shane Terry and Sean Powell. But don't look now, here come all those guys we've been talking about, Corey Hoover, Andy Glazik, and Andrew Fayash, as they are making their way toward these guys pretty quickly.
And it's only going to be a matter of time if this race stays green. Even if it does not stay green, Andrew Fayash in that number 77, he's got to deal with something he hasn't really dealt with much so far in this series. He's got to deal with traffic in front of him. Andrew Fayash has usually been the faster driver here as he picks up another position away from that number 19 of Andy Glazik there. He moves up into 5th place, and now he's got the number 33 of Corey Hoover, who we thought to be a little bit stronger than Andrew there on that first run, but now it looks like Andrew's got that car. He is working his way up towards the front. He's got the goal in front of him, so he is not going to be relentless at all. He is going to be working as hard as he can as he looks underneath that number 33. The 33 will get the run going underneath Elaine Krasinski, so that will hold off the number 77 of Andrew Fayash for a little bit longer.
He gets a little bit loose trying to look underneath Corey Hoover. He realizes that Corey's having a little bit of a tough time getting by Sean Powell. And looks like he may or may not make this pass into turn number 3. 33, rolling the bottom, and he will take away that 3rd spot there from Sean Powell. But Austin Hartenfels is starting to check out. This isn't even getting funny. He's out there on tires he started the race with, and he's still out there leading and pulling away from these guys.
An update on your last car on the lead lap. Actually, it is for sure your last car on the lead lap as he goes around and 1 and 2. Stuart Lebosco follows him. As soon as we turn the cameras over to Tom Bourne, he goes around and turns 1 and 2, as well as Stuart Lebosco. What in the world just happened there, Shane?
I don't even know. It looks like those guys might have got a little bit loose coming into turn number 1, and then Stuart tried to avoid Tom and spun out himself. But no harm, no foul, just 2 spins, but we're on a caution again.
That was very strange. I had just turned the camera over to the number 31 to give an update on him as the last car in the lead lap, and as soon as that happened, he just drove it into 1 and 2. Looked like he hit a patch of oil, a patch of New England ice or something, and that car just went around. Same with Stuart Lebosco, who is 3 laps down.
Yeah, even though Phoenix is very far away from New England, I think we're definitely starting to see some of that New England ice make an impact here tonight.
And we are now on our 8th caution of this race. A lot of drivers heading down pit road. Austin Hartenfels thought about sneaking back out there on the track, but he did not get the opportunity to.
Yeah, and he's going to lose that lead, but Shane Terry staying out there. Nice call for him. He's going to get the lead because of it, but I guess Austin said, you know what, we need to come in now. Either he doesn't like the handling of the car, or he just wants to get on some new tires. He will be the first car to pit.
And for those of you at home, once again, you are watching the CMC Sportsman series here at Phoenix International Raceway. A couple of track facts for those of you just now tuning in. This is a short track considered on the NASCAR circuit. It is only 1 mile long. It was just recently repaved and reconfigured in 2011. The stands hold 67,000 people, but many, many more can pile into the infield as well as out onto the hills on the side of the track. Very interesting track. Not very many tracks like that where you can just show up on the hills and watch it. So very interesting here at Phoenix. It's a fun track with this new repave. I know you might not think so, but there's tons of grip out on the track, and I know these drivers out here also would agree that where's the grip? Well, it's there. It's just this setup seems to be a little bit loose in the rear end.
Yeah, especially in these beat cars, a lot more powerful compared to the truck, but still lacking horsepower compared to the Cup car. But nonetheless, these cars do produce a lot of power around here, and they could be a handful if you're loose off the corner, and especially in turn number 4. As much as you might think of it, these cars are usually tail happy off the corner, which means they're really sliding loose off the corner, and it's not easy to handle, and only the best of the best can hang on to it. And we're starting to see that tonight as the best are coming up through the field. But nonetheless, this does create a chance for anyone who might have a handle on this track that usually doesn't run up near the front, that might have a chance for the win tonight. Right now, Shane Terrian's up there in the lead and holding his ground pretty strong there.
Here as the pace car lights are off. Shane Terrian will be starting in that Coca-Cola Mustang on the inside line there with the number 33 of Corey Hoover on his outside. Another good start for Corey could mean he might be able to find his way into the lead on a little bit older tires there. Andrew Fayash, the driver who led the majority of the beginning of the race, yes, it was under caution, but either way, Andrew Fayash was strong, also strong in practice, also the pole sitter. And then you've got Andy Glazik in that number 19 on the high side as the pace car pulls off.
See how good of a start here Shane Terrian can get. The green flag is out, and he gets a pretty good start as he pulls right up in front of Corey Hoover to start there, and he will have the lead into turn number 1. Battles for second, Andrew Fayash the third, alongside Corey Hoover, who can get through first and try and see if they can track down Shane Terrian as he's pulling away.
Looks like Fayash will be able to get into that second spot. A little bit of competition here on the outside from Corey Hoover. Corey Hoover proved to be strong on the high side earlier in the race, but it doesn't look like Fayash will let him have it here coming off of turns 3 and 4, going into 1 and 2. It's a drag race down the front stretch there. Take a look at the flame shooting out the exhaust as the caution comes out again. We've got a car around on the front stretch. The number 1 of Dalton Alexander. I'm the car owner for that car, so I definitely don't want to see him go around. Doesn't look to be too much damage, but I'm going to pull up the replay and take a look at what happened.
And it's actually going to start with the 60 of Elaine Krasensky getting to the rear end of Trevor Rapolo going to turn number 1. Another one of those instances where you think the hole's there, and it isn't, and you go for it. And that time the front car got spun out, and as you said, Dalton Alexander goes around in it as well, and that's a 3-car wreck that possibly could have been prevented, but nonetheless is going to be another caution.
And it has been a brutal race so far for a lot of those drivers caught up in the back. But with it under our 9th caution here so far, we are going to take another commercial break, and we will be back for the green flag. Do not go away. We're looking to get the green flag and hoping to get the long run on this next start here. And we are back here at Phoenix with the pace car lights off. Going to be taking the green flag on lap 67 of 150. Shane Terrian still out in the lead after some strategy calls, but now he's got trouble on his outside. Andrew Fayash and Corey Hoover surrounding him, and both of those drivers were very strong in the beginning parts of the race. Quite a few cautions so far, so it's been tough to see who has the long run car. Here on this next restart, we're hoping to see the green flag come out and stay out for quite some time, but we will only be able to tell once it happens. So I will turn it over to you, Shane, for this restart.
Yeah, just past the 1/3 mark there a couple laps ago. Around lap 50, we're working lap 66, getting ready for lap 67 here. A lot of these guys on different strategies. Shane Terrian out there on a little bit older tires compared to some of these guys. We'll see what kind of restart he gets. So he leads them off pretty slowly, green flag's out, and looks like he got a pretty good start. Tell you about a car that's really come to life. It's the 7 car. Bruce Ackerman started 10th, up to 5th there, and he's trying to hold off. That's Austin Hartenfeld. He's lost some words there. He's actually up to 4th now. So good job there for Bruce Ackerman, but Shane Terrian holding his ground here as here comes Andrew Fayash III trying to challenge for the lead.
As we watch that battle for 3rd and 4th there for just a second. Now we look back up to the lead. Andrew Fayash all over the back bumper. That number 38 getting underneath of him there, coming off the corner. The number 77 will not lead that lap, but he will be challenging him on the low side. I don't believe Shane will fight too hard, but Corey Hoover will be following in suit, hopefully, as we complete lap 68, and we're now on 69. Corey Hoover wants to get around this number 38, but he's having a little bit of trouble there.
And I think Corey maybe wants that outside line because it seems like his car's been working great up there, but it looks like he'll make the pass, just slide up in front of the nose of Shane Terrian. And looks like Shane will drop back to 3rd there and move Corey up to 2nd.
Looks like we've got a battle brewing there for 4th place. Austin Hartenfeld's looking on the back of that number 7 as the back of the number 7 is moving towards the front of the field as he goes underneath the number 38 of Shane Terrian there in the 3 and 4. Not sure if he's going to really get that run. He kind of has to check up coming through the corner, and that will allow Austin Hartenfeld to get back up on his back bumper as Austin will look low on the front stretch. The 7 cuts him off, and Austin's going to have to back out of it there in front of his teammate Andy Glazik there.
Yeah, smart move there by Austin. Definitely some risks being taken there by Bruce Ackerman, but it looks like he's going to take this 3rd spot away because he's got the faster car, definitely faster than Shane Terrian on those newer tires compared to Shane. Austin's going to come flying through, and not good news for Shane as he could be on his way to the back here in this freight train.
A large group of cars there on your screen battling it out for position. The number 7, Bruce Ackerman, getting way up by the wall. That's going to allow Austin Hartenfeld to get underneath of him there. At the front, Andrew Fayash is starting to pull away very slowly from Corey Hoover. And right now, the battle and action on the track is right here on your screen.
Shane's still hanging strong though as he's on the outside of Andy Glazik there, and he backs off. It goes a little bit wide into turns 1 and 2, and that's going to allow Ryan Dyson and Sean Powell to make their way up through the field. Ryan's been kind of cooped up back here and just around 10th place, and Sean, after making that pit stop to get off sequence a little bit, hasn't quite made it back up to the front where he was before, but he still is solidly in the top 10.
There we've got those 3 RCA cars moving towards the front, actually 4 of them, with Corey Hoover being up in 2nd. Austin Hartenfeld's there in 3rd, Andy Glazik in 5th, and then Ryan Dyson in 6th. I tell you what, that team is just always so consistent. And it's really impressive to see them put on a team effort. They get into sessions together. They work out their, the kinks in their racing. They figure it out. They really work as a team as they figure each and every one of these tracks out. Of course, in this series here, as Andy Glazik goes underneath the number 7, these races are fixed setup. So everyone on the same stuff out there as we come halfway through this race. Andy Glazik moves up into 4th, so make that almost all of the RCA cars up in the top 5 with Ryan Dyson coming up on Bruce Ackerman.
Yeah, Bruce. Looks like Bruce is falling back a little bit as he's now back to, I believe that's 5th place. Yes, it is. So definitely a tough call there for Bruce, but he's still up here regardless of that early charge, and that's a pretty good job for him. He's kind of struggled these first 2 weeks, and a good run for him tonight would only help him out.
Going into 3 and 4, Ryan Dyson looks low, and the number 7 way up out of the groove. That's going to cause a problem coming off the corner. The number 10 of Sean Powell, our in-race reporter, he's going to use that as a chance to go underneath, and he's almost going to look under Ryan Dyson as our in-race reporter's going around. Is he going to save it? He does!
Very impressive save there by Sean Powell. He's going to lose a lot of ground, but he's going to do a nice job of just hanging on to the car, and he's still got a race car left after that.
This is one of those times we have to see a replay. Going into the gyro camera, taking a look at what happened coming off of 3 and 4 right here. You see him looking towards Ryan Dyson, thinking about making the move again in the gyro cam. Ryan leaves it open a little bit there, closes the door. You see that car kicking out sideways. Look at that. All the way down on the apron, still sideways, pointed towards that inside wall, and he corrects it and gets it going. He does lose quite a few positions. He falls back into 11th place, but it's a lot better than smashing that car up.
Yeah, definitely a lot better than doing that. That would be bad because that would probably end his night, but saving that car keeps us A, under green, and B, keeps Sean at least with his car, and to be honest with you, he only fell back to 11th, so not too terrible of a consequence there for Sean. He'll just have to hope for a caution here to catch back up.
And taking a look back up towards the lead, the number 77 of Andrew Fayash is now stretched out by almost half of a second over Corey Hoover. I don't know, that number 77's running a little bit higher there through the corners, and I've got a feeling that's going to be a little bit easier on his tires than the run the number 33 is choosing. He's running towards the bottom of 1 and 2, and that really starts to wear out that right front in comparison to where the number 77, Andrew Fayash, is running. Tire wear here, like I said earlier, does not come into play like it does everywhere else, but it still does play a factor since everyone's tires will wear differently throughout the run of the race.
Definitely, you drive that car hard into the corner, you're going to demand a whole lot out of that right front, and to be honest with you, it might not do that. The longer the run goes on, you'll use up that right front, and then you'll really start to plow, and that's not fun to drive here. There is an apron in turns 3 and 4, but you got a tight car, you're not going to turn at all in turns 1 and 2, and it looks like so far Andrew Fayash III and Corey Hoover have distanced themselves from the rest of this field. It's 3 seconds back to Austin Artenfels, but then a mere 5 seconds back to Ryan Dyson. So these two look to be the class of the field here as we're finally starting to get a longer run in.
It's going to be interesting here with this race in the position that it is, right towards the edge of that fuel run. I do believe, Shane, for a lot of these drivers that have stayed out. So if this race does stay green, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. You might see some drivers come down, get 2 tires, get no tires, and just take the 2 seconds it is to get 30, 40 laps of fuel and get back out there since tires do not wear so much.
Yeah, and especially if you didn't pit under that last caution, we're assuming that probably everyone's going to have to come back in at least one more time. One more time is for sure on fuel. You might want tires, though. We'll have to see, but if cautions come out. But I would say right now these leaders are just kind of going to ride it out, try and log as many laps as they can. If you see any pit stops, I'd say you're going to have to at least go 30, maybe 40 more laps until then, because no one wants to pit early and get caught a couple laps down because of a caution.
As we go up into the blimp, we take a look at Sean Powell, our in-race reporter, as he makes his way back up through the field. He has worked his way back up into the top 10, and he is one of the fastest cars out on track right now just running basically the same lap times as the top 5. So Sean Powell, after getting loose there, nearly losing the car, he is doing the best he can to recover, and he is working on chasing these drivers down to get back up towards the top 5.
Field's pretty much sort of distant themselves out. Everyone's equally spaced, it seems like, except for Joseph Thies here back in 6th, 7th, Mark Murphy, and 8th, Bruce Ackerman. These guys have kind of fallen back. Joseph Thies is on the rise, though. Started 12th, hasn't been near the top 10 for most of the race. He's up there in 6th, having a nice run there for him. Got taken out early, Vegas. Actually, I think it was the first lap, turn 3. Joseph's day was pretty much over. So, a lot better run this week. I think he's looking for some redemption here to get his season back on the right track, and certainly running 6th here in a race like this is a good way to do that.
And an update on our last car on the lead lap, Elaine Krasinski, the same driver we saw sitting up in 2nd and 3rd spot there for a while due to some pit strategy. He is sitting there in 17th position, doing the best he can to hold on. He's got a very damaged number 9 below him, that control freak car of Trevor Rapolo. They are battling. It is not for position. Trevor Rapolo is 12 laps down, and he will work his way around the number 60 of Elaine Krasinski there and improve his track position, but not actual running order.
Looks like Mark Murphy has officially caught Bruce Ackerman, or Bruce Ackerman has officially caught Mark Murphy. They're both kind of there, but here's Sean Powell again. Sean's up to 9th, and now he's digging for possibly the 7th spot. He's trying to go to the outside of Mark Murphy and might make it work here out of turn number 2. We're starting to see guys who are managing their tires better, starting to come up through the field and really making positive ground.
Yeah, Sean Powell up in the 8th spot there, doing a very nice job making his way slowly up through the field. He's got Bruce Ackerman there as he almost gets into the wall. That was close. As we continue to watch this battle here, you've got that number 10 who got loose, very, very loose in 1 and 2 there a few laps ago, and he's done a very nice job, our in-race reporter, to bring that number 10 Mustang back up through the field. He's working on getting 7th place with the 6th place driver of Joseph Thies right in front of him, so he is in a good place to make up and have a good recovery here.
Nice to see we're finally starting to get a run in there. Had a lot of cautions early on, and now we're working about a 20-lap run, and it's still going on with plenty of spacing. So nice to see that. And now we're going to start to see the guys really move forward who have got a handle on this racetrack. It's relatively new. Everyone who entered tonight's race probably hasn't raced on it more than 5 or 6 times. So a lot of these guys adapting well to this new surface.
Would like to remind you guys that this race is brought to you in part by the sponsor up on your screen right there, London Recreational Racing. They are innovators in pool and spa technology. Check them out on the web. They help bring this series to you each and every week. This series is also brought to you by the Crescent Moon Contractors. Of course, this series is called the CMC Sportsman series for a reason. They bring it to you every week as well. They help bring these broadcasts to you. And then finally, this race is also brought to you by, of course, Checkered Flag Interactive. If you're looking to get your sim race broadcasted, this is your place to go. The prices just can't be beat for the quality that you get. And so definitely check them out on the web. Head over to Facebook and just look up Checkered Flag Interactive. Send them a message, give them a wall post, and we will hook you up with whatever you need for your sim broadcast.
As we rejoin the action up near the front, Austin Hartenfels is running 3rd. He's about 4 seconds back to the lead. Corey Huber is 2nd, but falling back to your leader, Andrew Fash the third. He's over a second in the lead now and pulling away from Corey Hoover. And wow, it's just amazing how fast Andrew Fash is going out there right now. He is well faster than the whole field right now, just absolutely dominating so far this run.
Corey Hoover, though, after having not the best couple weeks to start this season, definitely he can't complain too much, but he didn't get a win, and he was really looking to get a win at least one out of the two races, and he was easily both races he could have gotten it, but he just could not connect, and Andrew Fash was able to.
Yeah, I remember last week Corey Hoover had those terrible connection issues toward the later part of the later stages of the race, I should say, and that knocked him out to outside the top 10, and that's not how you want to start off the season with a bad finish like that. But he's out here running second, and he's doing the best he can to stay with Andrew Fash the third, but Andrew's just too fast right now and pulling away, and gonna start getting some lap traffic though. He's got quite a lot of cars that are damaged and have kind of taken the beating here tonight, and now are getting ready to be lapped.
And I would like to update you guys on the points as we watch these the leaders start going around these lap down cars. Andrew Fash is 13 points ahead of Austin Hartenfels. Andy Glazik is in third, 79 points, and then he's got 16 to make up on Andrew Fash. Ryan Dyson in fourth, 23 points behind Andrew Fash, and Michael Finlayson. Strong opening of the season for him. He is 25 points behind Andrew Fash here, but after having a pretty tough night so far, I've got a feeling he's got a lot of ground to make up if he wants to maintain that little bit of a gap that he's got behind the leader. So there's your top 5 in points, and quite a few drivers from there on out, just 1 or 2 points separated from each other. Corey Hoover, though, after last week's connection issue, he is sitting 7th in the points right now, so he definitely needs a very good week this week, Shane.
Yeah, he's going to have to do the best he can. He's got a car maybe around Tom Boren, but no, he saves it. Good job. That was nearly in front of the leaders, but a close call there for him. He stays going, and we stay green, so good job by him to save that car.
And we've got a battle there just wrapping up for fourth place, Ryan Dyson works his way around teammate Andy Glazik there, making his move, moving up into 4th place. Ryan's been slowly picking up his times as the run's been going on, and now he is looking to pull away from Andy Glazik, who is starting to struggle a little bit. But Sean Powell, take a look at him, Shane.
Ready to say that. Yeah, definitely. He is all the way back up from 11th spot after almost spinning out to 6th, and has a car that probably could be running top 4 here before the end of this thing, and he's catching these guys in a hurry. I know Ryan just went around Andy Glazik running some fast times, but I mean, Sean Powell's up there running really good lap times, and he's faster than both of them, and he's catching them in a hurry, so we're going to have to see here just how fast Sean Powell can go before this race is over.
As we take a look at Corey Hoover there, picking up a little bit of time with Andrew Fash working through traffic, but not enough to really make a difference. He is still a second out. He's made out 0.2 of a second over the past few laps, but he is still just not really getting anywhere here as he goes around the outside of the number 27. Then he's got Dalton Alexander in front of him, and he's going to have to deal with him. And right now, Andrew Fash has clear track in front of him for a little while.
Yeah, he got through those lap cars a lot better than Corey Hoover has right now. He had to go around the outside, cost him a lot of time, and now he's in clean air, or at least somewhat clean air, but he's 1.6 seconds behind Andrew Fash the third, and it's owing. And Corey's going to probably need a caution or some kind of move on pit road to do something here if he's going to want to win this race, because Andrew Fash has this field beat on the long run.
As we take a look back at this battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Andy Glazik there in the middle in that number 19. He's got Sean Powell working on his back bumper. Ryan Dyson tried to start pulling away in that number 28 Camaro, but it did not really pay off there, and it looks like the number 19 is going to get up out of the groove, allowing Sean Powell by.
Yeah, I kind of just saw there that there's clearly a car faster than me, and might as well just let him go, and that's exactly what he did. Sean Powell now up to that 5th spot and in the top 5 after all that adversity in this run. That's an impressive job by him. And I think it's only getting started for him as he is just coming right through the field here.
If we get a late race caution, Shane, and he can get 4 fresh Goodyears, and maybe even without that caution, he can at least make his way up into at least 3rd place. And with a late race caution, I've got a feeling he might be able to challenge for that win.
Yeah, the 3rd place car right now, Austin Hartenfels, is in some lap traffic, but he is lapping slower than Sean Powell, who did make a pass, to be fair there. So both cars in a little bit of traffic, but it looks like Sean's got the better car. But yeah, it would be really interesting to see if we get a late race caution, and we got about 40 laps to go here, about 42, so it's definitely possible here, but I for sure see that whoever has the short run speed would show it if that were to happen.
And you see there, Andrew Fayosh still about a second ahead of Corey Hoover, coming up on 2 more lap down cars.
Yeah, he's got up to 11th place lapped right now. The next car to get lapped is Cleaver Camilio Gomez. And he's in the 07 car running there. He is almost about a second and a half in front of the leaders. Andrew's going to work around the machine of Mike Tellier. He's going to go the 14th lap down. Mike was caught up in an earlier accident. He's got some front end damage there. Still out there running strong in that car, and he currently sits in the 22nd position.
And Sean Powell has officially moved up into that 4th position there in that number 10. Our in-race reporter is making a lot of upward movement in the field, and I just don't think, there's just no way he's going to be able to make up all the time on Andrew Fayosh, but he might be able to get up to Austin Hartenfels there in 3rd. And, after that awesome recovery, I think he would be more than happy with that.
Yeah, I think he definitely would, and for Sean especially, he's still up there in the top 10 of the standings. If it's big picture here with 23 races in this season, it's championship to think about, and you screw up early on, you make your way back up to the field and get a nice top 4, or even possibly top 3 finish. That is how you establish yourself as a champion, regardless of what happens.
Taking a look at the battle for 8th, we just saw Bruce Ackerman get back around Mark Murphy and Joseph Dice there as these guys start to battle out. That Circle Alliance Mustang he was starting towards the front, and he was looking pretty strong, Shane, towards the beginning of this race, but he's really fallen apart as the race has gone on. I think it's mainly because he's only on 1 pit stop. And another thing I want to know is we've got drivers out here that have made almost 10 pit stops, and that was pitting under every single caution, repairing some damage. And a lot of those drivers are still up on the lead lap, just barely, but they're there.
Yeah, and that's making not only 1 pit stop under caution, that's making several pit stops over several cautions to repair the car, work on the car, do what you need to do to make the car faster. As you documented before, everyone is on the same setup, but you can still do things like what tires to take, how much fuel can you take, how long you want to stay out there, when do you like the car at its best, do you like it on newer tires or a little bit older tires. All those things you can do to help the handling of your car without directly modifying the setup. And some of these guys might be doing it here tonight with the different types of lines being run at this track. It is a short track, and it's obviously lived up to the expectations tonight with a lot of hard racing. We've seen plenty of cautions, but now here we are with a nice long run, and we might go green to the end here. Who knows?
Sean Powell continuing to run down that 3rd place car of Austin Hartenfels. Right now, Sean Powell is the 2nd fastest car on the track, just behind Andrew Fayosh by not even over half of a 1/10 of a second. So Sean Powell, he's got his work cut out for him here. But like I said, and like you agreed with me on there, Shane, I do believe he'll get 3rd place without a problem. Oh, he almost gets into the back of the number 31 there, having trouble getting around these lap down cars.
Yeah, he had to check up there a lot and had to try and find his way to see if he can.
The number 31 of Tom Bourne is not giving up that easily. If it were me, I'm not losing anything. I would have just let him by, but hey, he's got his own agenda, and it looks like the number 10 will work his way around him now this time by. And we've still got that battle behind him between teammates Ryan Dyson and Andy Glazik. They really haven't separated from each other over the past 10, 15, 20 laps. Ryan Dyson chased Andy down for a while there and made the pass, and Andy really hasn't fallen off as much as I thought he would.
No, he really hasn't, and he's been doing a nice job there, just trying to stay up there toward the front. He's up there in 6th right now. He's 10 seconds off the lead, actually 11 now, but still having a really good run. And for someone who just made their debut a couple weeks ago in Daytona, this is only their 3rd race, first race on a short track, the Upper Edge Racing League, especially the CMC Sportsman Series. Always impressive, and just like Andrew Fayash III, Andy Glazik having another great run here to open up his career in this series.
Corey Hoover has fallen to 4.5 seconds off of Andrew Fayash there, and that number 33 Camaro, while he is running very consistent lap times, he is running one of the slowest lap times in the top 10 each and every lap. So Corey Hoover, he's got quite a bit of a cushion between him and Austin Hartenfels, but he's not making any forward ground towards that leader who has led over 100 laps this race, not quite 100, 87 laps so far.
Yeah, I think for Corey's sake, I think that car just simply will not turn for him. He's worn out that right front tire, maybe trying to go after Andrew Fayash, and really that has not worked for him. He's fallen back in a hurry, and he's probably going to need a caution here. He's going to want to have the chance to win, and with fast guys like Austin Hartenfels and Sean Powell still out here, you never know if Corey might fall farther back in second.
And I'm taking a look up in the blimp at Sean Powell as he continues to try to chase down Austin Hartenfels. He is now only 1 second behind Austin as Austin makes a pass on another lap down car, but he's got 2 lap down cars between them, and I don't really know if Sean Powell, he is still running fast times. He's just got so much trouble getting around these lap down cars that really just aren't moving out of the way.
Yeah, it's always difficult when you're trying to go around some of these guys. I mean, some of these guys give you room, some of them don't. It's up to them, but really, when you're a lap down car, especially several laps down, in my opinion, you have no business racing some of these guys who are going for the win, going for a top 5, and some are giving room, and some aren't. But we actually got a car on pit road. Corey Hoover said, "I've had enough. I'm coming in," and he's in with 25 to go.
And this is going to be interesting as well. And you want to take a look at this. I don't think Sean Powell will need to come down pit road, but drivers like Andrew Fayash and maybe even Austin Hartenfels. I think Austin should be pretty close to being good, but I don't really know if Andrew Fayash will be.
Yeah, that's really going to depend. If you pitted under that last caution, which I believe was all the way back on lap 71 or something like that, really close to there, you're going to be in a lot better situation than these guys who did not, and maybe hit it around lap 60 or so. You're probably not going to be able to make it to the end of this race. And if you pit it around there, if you pit it under the last caution, as I said, you have the best chance, I should say, to make it to the end, and we're just going to have to see. But as you said, Steve, that is not the case for Andrew Fayash and Austin Hartenfels, but for Sean Powell, he might have a chance.
And I mean, now Sean has moved up in the 3rd place with that Corey Hoover coming down pit road, which is great for Sean. And now that he's on the back bumper, the number 29, and looking low, Austin's probably not going to contend very hard for that position because he knows the number 10 is so fast. So move the number 10 up to 2nd. What a recovery. Just remember, about 50 laps ago, he almost spun out in that exact position right there and almost drove it right into the inside wall. He's done a beautiful job making his way back up through the pack, and he is our in-race reporter tonight for Checkered Flag Interactive.
More cars on pit road. The 6th place car of Andy Glazik and the 7th place car of Mark Murphy. They've said, we've had enough, we need to come in now. They obviously can't make it on fuel, so they're going to come in. What I saw, interestingly enough, is that Corey Hoover, with only 25 laps to go, took 4 tires. I don't really know if he should have done that. Maybe 2 would have been the better call, but we're going to have to see, because Andy Glazik, he takes 2. Mark Murphy's going to stay and take 4, so the guy's trying all kinds of different strategies, going to see which one's the right one.
Andrew Fayash is still in a land all his own, still running 27.5 laps, which is only 4/10 off the fastest lap ran in this entire race. So he is in a very good position, and unless something big happens, unless there's a caution, or unless he has to pit, which I've got a feeling there's a good chance that he will. Will have to. We'll just have to see how that shapes up. If Sean Powell doesn't have to pit, he might just get this race locked up. He's come down pit road twice. Andrew Fash has only come down once.
And just as you say that, Steve, here comes the tandem Sean Powell to the pit road and brings it down slowly. So obviously he said, I can't make it. So here comes to pit. Ryan Dyson's going to be pitting this time by. I see another car as well. Plenty of guys coming down pit road. So we're going to have to see what Andrew Fash can do here. Maybe he might try and save some fuel.
If I were Sean Powell, I would get no tires. I would just get enough fuel to make it to the end. You only have to sit there for about 2 seconds to get 20 to 40 laps of fuel. We'll see as he comes down to his stall. He's got the right side going up. And he is away.
Andrew Fash III is going to come flying into pit road, and he's going to make it onto pit road. A very, very fast entry compared to some of these other guys. And he's going to obviously say, I can't make it on fuel. The lead will go to Austin Hartenfels, but we'll see if Austin stays out. And he does. He will stay out for another lap, so Austin Hartenfels, your new leader.
These pit stops, may I remind you, are brought to you by Control Freak. Check them out on the web. Search them up. And as I said, Andrew Fash taking my strategy, only taking fuel here on this stop. So we'll see how that shapes up. With Sean Powell being on fresh tires, he might be able to make up some ground, but he's got a lot of ground to make up.
Yeah, I think Andrew Fash said, you know what, keep this set of tires on the car. I want to just have more fuel. And a little splash and go action there for Andrew, and that might win him the race. We're going to have to see, but he's 12 seconds back of Austin Hartenfels, but Austin hasn't pitted yet, so we'll just have to see here.
Chris Scala also taking the strategy that I was thinking about. Him and Andrew Fash both had 4.5 second pit stops there, so that's going to definitely play a role into how this thing shapes up. Sean Powell falls back to 5th place with a 9.2 second pit stop. He is the first car 1 lap down, so if a caution does come out, he is in the position for a lucky dog, and he will be coming up on Austin Hartenfels, your leader, pretty soon as well.
Yeah, I think Andrew's taking that bet, like, hey, if I'm going to win this race, I'm just going to have to be out front, taking fuel only, but Austin Hartenfels is still out there. We're going to have to see. There's 16 laps to go, but just how many of those 16 laps can Austin Hartenfels make on this tank of gas?
We're going to go on board with Austin Hartenfels as he goes through 3 and 4. Take a look at the line that he's running here. Taking a look through the cockpit camera, he's just running a very steady line, letting off early, trying to save some gas probably, and just hoping as he gets loose there that a caution comes out.
Yeah, you can see Austin starting to use that apron there. Obviously the car not turning on a lot older tires, not a lot of fuel left in that car. So he's experiencing a pretty good tight condition there, but he's still out there leading, and we're going to see what he can do here. The big question is can he make it?
I mean, he's only got 14 laps to do so. It'll be interesting to see if he can, but I really have my doubts if he can. As you see Sean Powell go around him to get his lap back. So now if a caution were to come out, Sean Powell is back on the lead lap.
And that would be big, because with so many cars 1 lap down, being the lucky dog is, yeah, good, you get back in the lead lap, but you would have to restart behind every single one of those cars, and that's not fun. So that's a big pass by Sean Powell, keeps him in this race. That's also another interesting point, Steve. If we get a caution here late, Andrew Fash III is on the same set of tires he was on some 80 laps ago, and I doubt he would want to stay out there. He would be probably not fast, that's for sure to say in very simple terms. So a really impressive run as well for Chris Scala. He's up here in 3rd. He's on a strategy call. He's going to try and see if he can make it to the end, but all kinds of different strategies playing out here right now, and Austin Hartenfels is somehow still out there.
Andrew Fash is starting to close in slowly on him, and I really don't think that if Austin were able to, stay out, I don't think Andrew Fash would be able to catch him. But we've got a battle shaping up for third. Chris Scala is catching up to Corey Hoover.
And actually, here comes your leader this time by Austin Hartenfels. Said, I've had enough, and he'll come to pit road here, and this will hand the lead to Andrew Fash III, and this is a huge, huge opportunity for him to possibly seal up this win if we don't get a caution now.
And unless we get a caution within the next 4 or 5 laps, if a caution were to come out, I do believe the race would be over anyhow. So if there's a caution coming out, it needs to be now.
Yeah, we actually got 10 laps to go, so you'd have to wait a couple laps before then, but still, we're really, really close to that mark where, yes, if we were to get a caution, the race would not restart and it would end under caution. And for Andrew Fash, I think he wouldn't mind that at all, because restarting with those tires that are as worn as they are would probably not be a fun experience.
And Austin Hartenfels did only take fuel on his pit stop, and now I look at Sean Powell once again. He's trying to chase down Chris Scala, who is only half of a second in front of him. Chris is on old tires. Sean Powell is not, so he will make that position quite easily there along the inside.
It's just amazing, though. Andrew Fash came in with a lead of about 8 seconds. He's out there 13 seconds in front of Corey Hoover, and Corey is still lapping pretty good laps compared to him. So that's huge strategy right there by Andrew Fash to go out there and take a no tire call and might win this race.
What's incredible is he took no tires, and right now he is still running 27 threes out on the track, which is incredible, only being 2/10 off the fastest lap of the race, which Andrew Fash did run.
Yeah, we documented before about the tire wear here, not a lot, but it looks like Andrew managed those tires really well, and he's been able to stay up near the front, and those tires are still benefiting him very well here toward the end of this race as we get 6 to go this time by. Got a lot of heavy lap traffic in front of him, but he does have a whopping 13 seconds to play with, so plenty of space there for Andrew Fash. Nothing to rush. Just trying to make it to the end here.
Almost seeing some problems there going 3 wide right behind our leader, but it looks like they will figure it out going through the corner.
And there we go. We did get the 5 laps to go this time by, so for Andrew Fash, if we get a caution anytime from here on out, it will be his race in the bag, and we're going to have to see here if we do get a caution. There's no one really battling out on the track. Everyone's evenly spaced. We do have 9 cars in the lead lap. Final car on the lead lap is Andy Glazik, who's not actually too far in front of your leader. He's in the exit of turn number 4, and here comes Andrew Fash in the exit of turn number 4. So, but 5th place, Austin Hartenfels, 20 seconds behind your leader. Just an absolute, complete dominating performance here tonight by Andrew Fash, and he is pulling away from everybody and has still pulled away.
And if Fash can win this race, that will make 3 races in a row that he has won here in the Upper Edge Series, and we've only had 3 races this season so far. So that is incredible if he can do that, and unless something really, really big happens, that is going to be the case. And very impressive runs here through the first 3 races, and Andrew Fash will extend his lead to about 35 points in the standings, I do believe.
Coming at 3, now 2 laps to go for Andrew Fash, continuing to lead. Got some lap traffic in front of him, a couple slow cars up to the outside, no one around him, no need to push the issue or push the envelope, as they like to say. And he's going to let all these guys go by. And does Trevor Rapolo as well. So good job by the lap cars getting out of the way, giving Andrew Fash the room he needs to complete this final lap here as the white flag's in the air.
And this final lap is brought to you by Crescent Moon Contracting. the series sponsor here for the CMC Sportsman series, as Andrew Fayash comes around for his final corners here. Underneath is Stuart Lebosco, not going to put up a fight as the checkered flag is coming up into the air. The 77, Andrew Fayash, he will cross the line to take race number 3 of the season to make 3 in a row.
Goes a perfect 3 for 3 to start his career in the Upper Edge Racing League. I'd say that's a pretty good job by Andrew Fayash, and he's going to be celebrating again tonight, and it's getting pretty normal for him at this point. He's been dominating, and he once again wins tonight and on a dominating fashion. So good job to Andrew Fayash the third.
Ryan Dyson and Andy Glazik battling it out all the way to the start-finish line there. Ryan Dyson will get 7th, Andy Glazik 8th. Good run for Chris Scala, staying on the lead lap throughout the race, even after being involved in a couple early cautions. Bruce Ackerman rounds out the top 10, and we will take a look at the full top 10. Andrew Fayash is your winner, Corey Hoover 2nd, Sean Powell 3rd, our in-race reporter, Joseph Theis 4th, great run for him, Austin Hartenfels 5th, Mark Murphy 6th, Ryan Dyson 7th, Andy Glazik 8th, and then 9th, Chris Scala, and 10th, Tom Bourne. Good run for him.
Yeah, Tom Bourne comes home 11th. 12th's going to go to Shane Terrian. 13th, Kleber Camilio Gomez. 14th, Elaine Krasinski. 15th, Mario Gerard. 16th, Dalton Alexander. 17th, Stuart Lebosco. 18th, going to be Douglas Beard. 13th, Michael Thompson. And, or 19th, I should say. And 20th, Leandro Schmidt.
And as our winner does his victory lap in reverse there, spins it around, clean spin for him. Taking a look in their TeamSpeak here. He is not in our TeamSpeak, but we do have our in-race reporter, so I do believe I will bring him up into the booth, and we will wrap tonight's event up. Hey, Sean, you got a copy? It's Steve up in the booth.
Yep, I got a copy.
Well, you didn't quite get the win, but you did show us how impressive you can drive. You did a beautiful job keeping that car in contention even after that beautiful save.
Yeah, that was scary. That was really scary. I mean, I was surprised. I saved it, and I thought I burnt my tires up by sliding my tires, but I didn't. I just took it easy right there, wasn't going on full potential, just taking it easy.
Now, on that final pit stop, did you really think that it was worth it to take just gas because you were so far behind the leader? And is that why you chose to take 2 tires anyhow?
Yep. I always, when it's like 20 laps to go, I mean, my opinion is 2 tires is the way to go.
Yeah, if a caution probably would have come out, you would have definitely been set to go on that restart. So definitely agree with that. But you did a beautiful job coming back up. When you got loose there and you fell back, did you? I mean, you said you thought your tires were burned up, but were you hoping for a caution? And I'm sure you were. But if you would have gotten a caution, what would have your strategy been then?
If I were to get a caution, probably went to pit to 4 tires and probably just like 5 gallons of gas, just enough to make it to the end.
Well, after doing the best you could to make a good night out of a tough situation, what do you think going into the next race?
Well, I think it's Auto Club, if I'm not mistaken. Well, it's one of the better tracks. And just hope for top 5, top 10s, and go run for this championship, which is going to this championship is going to be hard to win because of Andrew here winning every race.
All right, who do you have to thank for bringing a car to the racetrack tonight?
I had to thank JK Racing, 24 Designs, Highland, who else am I forgetting? Forgetting somebody else, but who else we got? Appreciate the ride and thanks.
All right, well, thank you very much for being our in-race reporter, and we will see you next week, and we wish you luck.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
We've also got Andrew Fayash in our waiting room along with Corey Hoover, so I will bring Andrew up into the booth, Shane, and I will turn him over to you.
All right. All right, here with the race winner, Andrew Fayash III. And Andrew, I got to ask you, to start off tonight's post-race action, what did you think of all those cautions early on to start this race off?
With this track, it's so tough to have a feel of the car. Not just this car, but on the repaved surface, it is such a tough place to have a feel for. And if you're on that edge, it's really hard to tell when you're at the very edge and when you're about to step over it. I mean, I'm sure you saw at the very end of qualifying, I tried to run a really quick lap and I got sideways out of turn 2, and a couple of times in the race when I lost the lead and fell back to 4th or whatever, I kept getting sideways. It is so tough to just find that edge and not step over it at this track that I just figured a lot of people were probably pushing it more than they should have for their own than they knew. They probably didn't try it in practice. They probably just didn't know that it was that fine of a line. But this track is with the repave, it's known for that. So it's a bit sketchy, but it'll happen here, you know.
Yeah, definitely. But when all the cautions stopped happening, we got a long run in. You seemed to be the class act of the field and pulled away from pretty much everybody and ended up winning the race. What were your keys to success there in that long run and pulling away from everyone in such dominating fashion?
Well, I think it was a little unapparent to some that it seemed like you needed to save the right rear tire with the way, it was loose, like I said, coming out of the corners, and a lot of people were spinning on exit. But really, when you weren't out of control, you were burning the right front off the thing. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So it came down to just saving tires for a while, and then just being able to run smooth, consistent without burning it off, really.
Yeah, so here you are, first 3 races of the season. You've won all 3. You're going to start off the season a perfect 3 for 3, and you got the points lead by quite a lot. What do you think of your strong start here?
I'm a little surprised, to be honest. I mean, I didn't know who all was in the league before joining. I mean, I'll admit I didn't know 90% of them even after joining. And, I knew Austin Hardenfels.